Ladies and gentlemen, hope you can hear me. This gentleman actually needs no introduction to many of you. Matt Green, who is going to talk to you about a little bit about Morris, which is the big Bampton tradition, and the people who've been involved in it over the years. More importantly, he's going to play for us. And I can tell you that he won't, because he's probably the most, what am I saying? Self-effacing man I know. He won't blow his own trumpet, but he is a brilliant fiddler. I've enjoyed listening to him many times, both at the Morris and beyond. And I know that people know of him in the folk world all over this country and probably beyond. But anyway, certainly all over this country. So we're really, really pleased to have Matthew with us. I'm very grateful to him for making the time to be here. So enjoy!
Right, hello. Quick bit about myself. I started to dance for the Morris in 1973 at the age of 13, just over 50 years ago. I started to play the fiddle in around 1974-75. I think I first played for the team in 75, alongside the late Arnold Woodley. And I used to play the fiddle and the chin, very proud, and slowly but surely it's worked its way down, and now I hold the fiddle standing along. What I'm going to do today is give you, someone asked me to talk on the history of Bampton Morris. History of Bampton Morris is very clear as you go through this. So much things have happened over many years. So I'm going to stick more to the musicians and what happened with musicians over the years as best as I can. So the first instrument that was ever used, as we know of, for the Bampton Morris was the Whitland dub. Anybody know what a Whitland dub is? Pipe and tabor. Anyone know what a pipe and tabor is? Basically, it's like a tin whistle. You hold one hand, you tuck the drum under this arm and you hold it, and you play the tune and bang a drum at the same time. And that was used for, it goes back centuries. But that was the first instrument that was used for the Bampton Morris. Now, you have to excuse me because I need to read notes at the same time. Can't memorise all this. The first recorded player of the pipe and tabor in Bampton was a chap called Thomas Radband. Anyone know the Radband family? They're still going. This was in 1800. And this was the first recorded fact that somebody was playing for the Bampton Morris 1800 with the Whitland dub or pipe and tabor.
They're mine.
Thank you. They're yours.
Before that, it is thought, and only thought, that a man called Mr. Master Beachy, who lived in Loo, he played in the late 1700s, pipe and tabor for Bampton. So 1770s, 1750s, Morris dancing was taking place with a man playing a whistle and banging a drum. And I'm going to play a tune now. There used to be a violinist called John Melcher who lived in Oxford, and he was the violinist for the Holywell Music Rooms, which is a very nice big concert venue in the middle of Oxford. He was the violinist there, and whilst walking around Oxford in 1789, he heard a pipe and tabor player playing a tune called Astley's Ride. So this isn't a Morris tune, this is just a tune being played. Imagine I've got a pipe and tabor instead of this. And it goes like this.
Why is it called Morris dancing?
We think, and it's only a thought, that it came from Spain, brought over by the Moors during the Holy Wars. Moors became Moorish, Morris dancing. Not really sure.
Nothing to do with cars.
No. No. But if you see a man dancing on a car, is he a Morris dancer or not?
You could also be an Austin dancer.
Anyway, so,
Sorry, could you just stand over here a bit?
I can go back.
Oh, hear what you're saying.
Ah, right, okay, sorry.
Yes, Father.
So there were two other pipe and tabor players, and they all have, some of them have really nice nicknames and things. There was a guy called Pot Shorey, and he came from Buckland Marsh, and he played pipe and tabor in the 1840s. Not long after him, in 1848, Old Rouse from Alverscott. Now I don't know whether that's one of the Rouse family, I doubt it, but Old Rouse from Alverscott played the pipe and tabor. 1848. Getting a bit more modern, aren't we? Now, in around 1850, a man called Richard Dicky Ford, who lived in Bampton, played the fiddle. Hooray! So, in 1850 is the first known time when somebody played the fiddle for the village. Now, I'm talking about fiddles and violins. Anybody know the difference between a fiddle and a violin?
I was going to ask that question.
I was asked it earlier on. But
How did he have it?
basically, the difference between a fiddle and a violin
Got a microphone.
is nothing. They're almost identical. Yes, sir.
Is it you play the fiddle, you play the violin under your chin and then play the fiddle the way you were playing it?
No, I could
No?
play it. If I could play it over there. So I don't.
Okay.
It's just ended up down here.
Okay.
The only thing I do is the bridge. This is called the bridge. This is what holds the strings up. That keeps the strings in the right place. I lower it slightly and flatten it, which means I can make more noise. So a violinist tends to be a bit. I play noise. If you're playing for a Morris, especially playing for a Morris team, you've got 6 chaps stood in front of you, all with bows. You've got to play the people all round. The wind's blowing. They need to be able to hear the instrument at the back. So the louder you can make it, the better. So going back to being a fiddle, most violinists play lots of notes for one movement of the bow. Play the fiddle, every note you play, the bow moves. So the bow's going backward and forwards like video. But, so that's basically the difference between fiddle playing and a violinist. And it just became known as the fiddle. And they're all over the country. There's Scottish fiddle players, Irish fiddle players, and there's chaps that play I play English traditional fiddle, is my style.
The way you play it rather than the instrument itself.
So it's the way it's played rather than the actual instrument. Yeah, they're pretty well otherwise identical. So I'm going to play a Morris tune now. Which one was I going to play? Oh yeah. Because Morris tunes date back obviously to the pipe and tabor players. We don't know which tunes really are the oldest tunes in the village. One of them, which someone mentions going way back and remembers back to the time of the rad band playing, Mr. Rad Band, is a tune called Constant Billy. So I'll give a quick blast of Constant Billy and show 'em in. Is that right? known to Bampton. Another one that's very, very, very early tune is Glory Shears, or Stamp and Clap.
Maggie, where's your handkerchief?
So Glory Shears it is a very, very old tune. I've known it being played for other Morris teams around the country, and it was also used by, I think, John Playford, the dancing master of the 1700s. And I'm talking away, trying to remember how the tune goes, so bear with me. So it goes. So, moving back a minute. In 1856, we've moved on another few more years, along comes another pipe and tabor player. Couldn't get rid of them at the time. And he was called John Potter, and he came from Stanharcourt. He used to travel to Bampton and Clownwick Monday. But interestingly, he also used to play for the team from Stanharcourt, the team that was at Ducklington, the team that was at Leafield, or Fieldtown as it was called in those days, Stanley Morris, and the Ancient Morris men. He played for all those different teams. And they think he used to go to whichever team would pay him the most money to play for. Who knows? One of the tunes that I know that changed from being for one Morris team to another is a tune called Maid of the Mill. So I tried this out earlier on today and got away with it, but I don't know whether I remember both versions.
Maid of the Mill.
Yeah.
So the Bampton version of Maid of the Mill goes like this. And it's left me. I know it would. I'll come back to that, but I had got in my head the version that the Kirklandton Morris men danced to, and it will not at this moment in time come to me. The other thing about fiddle players is very few fiddle players read music. I don't read music. It'd be so much easier because I could have a few notes and then I'd know what I was doing. Lots of us don't read music. We all play what they call by ear. You listen to a tune several times and it gets into your head and then you put it to your finger and eventually you can play the tune. And that tune will not come to me. I'll play it later.
Not to bother with that one, they know you went in yesterday and got some. Tell you then, not to bother with that one.
Right, so, from 1856 was the pipe and tabor player. We move on now to 1858, when a Mr. Robert Batts came all the way from Lou to play for the Morris. Well-travelled man. Ruth has talked about Jinky Wells, I think,
No.
no?
Carry on.
Now, the fiddle that Robert Batts played was described as an old, cracked violin which squeaked a lot. They do a bit. And I don't quite know what tunes he would have played, but the one that, another one of the old tunes is a tune called the Highland Mary, which some teams called the Ireland Girl. But in Bampton it's known as the Highland Mary. And it goes like this. And another point is since I changed team, when I first danced, I danced with the Arnold Woodley team, and then left Arnold's team, and I danced with the team I dance with now, which is just the Bampton Morris men. We were known as the Rebels back in its day. And we always start dancing outside Gothurst down here, which is Warren Green, one of my old relations' houses. That's where we start every Monday, and we always start with this dance, the Highland Mary. It's a single side step. And it goes like this. Right, so we move on in time now, just a few years, and there was a chap known as Fiddler Diddlum, Butler. He was known as Diddlum because he diddly way whilst he was playing. So you go diddly as playing the fiddle. I couldn't do that. I can't even sing and play the fiddle, so yeah, so and he came all the way from Leafield, and his son, Dick Butler, played the tambourine whilst he was playing for Morris. So we actually, at one point or another, whilst the fiddle was playing, the team was like a tambourine player playing. Now Dick, his son, Dick Butler, eventually moved to Bampton, and he carried on playing the fiddle for the Morris for many years, starting in 1880. So Dick was the main musician for the village for quite a long time after that. And he was still playing when a name that everybody knows joined Morris. In 1887, Jinky Wells started to dance.
Hooray.
Everyone know the name Jinky Wells? Pretty well, I think. He was,
Mix them
he was, yes, he was, yeah, yeah. Now Jinky lived in London for a couple of years. And whilst he was up in London, he bought his first proper fiddle. Prior to that, the fiddle he played was made from an old gun stock, the wooden part of the gun, and a corned beef tin. And it's what a shame it is that that is not in existence anymore, isn't it? Nothing was sort of kept. Everything was, when someone passed away, it was just thrown out. And luckily, Jinky's Morris kit was saved from the refuse, so it's still around. But a lot of the old history of Bampton's gone. Just how it is, isn't it? So it's a shame that's gone. 1908, Jinky became pretty well a full-time musician at that point. And Jinky himself, he used to travel around quite a lot. He used to go to Curtington and watch the dancing at Curtington. Curtington Lamb Ale, which takes place even today, in those days used to be a Morris competition. So teams used to go to Curtington Lamb Ale and compete for prizes. So it was the best dancing 16, best dancing jig, or best dancing solo musician, or solo dancer. And there were prizes awarded. And Jinky used to attend that, and he said at one point he saw 4 different versions of the same dance, same tune being played, but 4 different versions from different teams playing. This was in 1900s, early 1900s. And one of the tunes that Jinky introduced is a tune called the Webley Through, or the Webley. Spelled W-E-O-B-L-E, I believe. And bear with me. Yes, that's it. And it's so similar to the Island Mare, to the Maid of the Mill. I shouldn't have said that because I'll play the wrong tune again now. So, Webley Through goes like this. It's been tuned once. Most fiddles as well are tuned the same as a violin. Concert pitch it's called E, A, D, G. Exactly the same as a concert violin. Some fiddle players retune, but this one is concert pitch it's called. Now, sometime around 1950, moving on from Jinky Wells, a chap from Ilmington used to come along and play, called Sam Bennett. Sam used to stay at the Elephant and Castle. Probably still Thatch then, because the Thatch broke up in 56, I believe. So Sam Bennett came along and he played for the Morris, and he played quite a lot with Arnold Woodard. And when Sam Bennett passed away, Sam had 3 fiddles. One the Morris kept, one his family kept, and the other one was presented to Arnold. And I had the honour of playing that violin on the very first CD I ever recorded with my band Magpie Lane. And we did 2 or 3 different Bampton Morris tunes, and I played Sam Bennett's violin on that. And I know it was Sam's violin because I broke it. And I had to very quickly get it repaired, and I know where the crack is that I made it. If ever it goes out somewhere, I know exactly where that fiddle is. But at the moment, Arnold's family have still got it. They don't. I've been trying to get them to let me play it at Whitson, but they don't want me to play it. It's a shame. Now Arnold, is that why you've rep?
Sorry, Matthew. Sorry, Matthew.
Your time's up.
Arnold Woodley himself had two very favourite tunes. We're on again. Hello? You can see where they get stamped on, can't you?
Took it out the door, John.
Especially by fiddle players. Yeah.
Sorry, Matthew.
That's all right, that's all right. Right, so Arnold Woodley's favourite tunes, he had two. One was the Nutting Jig. The Nutting Girl, which is a very famous folk song. And he used to teach that as a dance you had to learn. If you couldn't do the Nutting Girl jig, he wouldn't let you in the team. So the first dance that I was taught was the Nutting Girl. And this is how it goes. It's a lovely little tune. I'm taking all this on, I should have said this at the start. A lot of the information I've found came from a wonderful little booklet produced by Keith Chandler. Now Keith Chandler was a great friend of the Morris, he still is, and he's a Morris historian. And he goes around and he's followed Bampton for many years, and he's dug right back into the history, looking at old newspaper reports and church reports. And this is how we've built up this vague history of who the musicians were, who the dancers were. He's got this whole load of information. And I'm using the information from a small booklet that he brought out called Morris Dancing up to 1913. I've got it in the bag. So after that, it's anybody's guess what happened really. And one thing that was noted was that the Morris men tended to sing while they danced back in the day. We don't anymore, which is good. No one is singing. So the Nutting Girl, they would have sang all the way through the Nutting Girl, the whole of the folk song, the Nutting Girl, all about the little ploughboy and what happened when he met the girl with the nuts, and we'll go into that. Another one of the favourite songs was a lovely little tune called Lumps of Plum Pudding. Now the words for Lumps of Plum Pudding are, lumps of plum pudding and pieces of pie, my mother she gave me for telling a lie. She gave me so much, I fear I should die, from lumps of plum pudding and pieces of pie. Well, we thought that was a really great tune for Christmas for Magpie Lane, so we played it at Christmas concerts. Lumps of plum pudding, Christmassy plum pudding. And then we found out lumps of plum pudding are bruises, and pieces of pie, well, you've got that thing in there, haven't you? So lumps of plum pudding and pieces of pie, my mother she gave me a telling a lie, isn't food at all. A clip round the ear or whatever. No. And the tune goes like this. And this is I've got this. Should you have favourite Morris tunes? Of course you should. This is one of my favourite ones.
Yeah.
Dying of thirst, I am.
Does the fiddle want it or you?
Drop the boat, cool it all down. Cheers. Might be gin with a bit of luck. Oh, right, bloody notes. Getting towards the end, it's gone on quite well. It's all guesswork how long this was going to take, so I'm quite pleased.
You can't hear.
After the sort of
Yeah, the
1950s,
violin.
lots and lots of musicians started to come into the village and play, and I'm going to name a few of them. I may miss a couple, but the more well-known ones, Ruth knows some of these, Reg Hall, and I think Reg is going to stop playing, or has stopped this year. I'm not sure. He'd probably still turn up, Reg, but you know, Reg. Andrew Bays, these are all fiddle players to start with. So Reg Hall played fiddle, Andrew Bays played fiddle, a chap called Jonathan Pearman played the fiddle, and it was Jonathan Pearman's responsibility for finding that I had a fiddle hidden under the bed that I'd been given to by my relation Warren Green, and he dragged it out from under the bed and insisted I started to play. So it's Jonathan Pearman's fault I'm playing this thing today. Good old Jonathan. He's still going strong as Jonathan. He lives on a converted lifeboat. Strange, but anyway. So then over there was Rowley Brown. Remember Rowley Brown? He used to come along and play. The Jubilee, Barry Locke and his wife Cynthia had a son. I've forgotten his name, but he played fiddle. A guy called Chris Bartram from Wantage used to come along and play fiddle. And then the squeeze box comes along. So first of all, concertina. Does everyone know what a concertina is? A concertina looks like an old threepenny bit. Lots of buttons. Yeah. The main player of that, or a well-known player, that was a guy called Will Kimber. And Will Kimber, he played for the Headington Morris men. He's still got a relation with them today. And they still play his concertina, which is nice. And Will Kimber used to come along with Cecil Sharp House, and he'd occasionally play for the Morris, and there are photographs of Will playing for the team. After that, there's a whole host of melodeon players. So the melodeon, instead of being a piano accordion, you know, the big piano accordion with all the big keynotes, they play melodeon, which is a much smaller instrument with small buttons. So much easier to play, much easier to carry around. Now the melodeon players, they keep growing, they do. For Reg Hall, he plays melodeon and fiddle. Francis Shergold played melodeon for the teams. Frank Purslow. Frank Purslow was very responsible for how I played a fiddle. He insisted that if I played a fiddle, I must play it for to be able to dance to. And it was Frank that really pushed the style that I've got, along with recordings of Jingy Wells and things that influenced how I play the fiddle today. Colin Bays, another great Morris musician. Some chap here I've got down here, I don't know who this is, Jamie Wheeler.
Oh.
You don't know him? No. He plays melodeon mainly, but he also plays the fiddle. Rod Stradlin comes along at some point from Cricklade and plays melodeon. Played melodeon for the Francis team for many years. And then there's Fred Cook, Alistair Cook. Plays melodeon for the team.
Plays cricket.
My old mate Jeff, yes, a different one. My old mate Jeff Dando. He came from Wales, but now he plays for the team. And then one of the newer members, Joe Perry, playing for the team. So at this moment in time, there are lots and lots of musicians in the village, which is great. Going from one pipe and tabor player that are having to drag from miles away, right in the village itself, we've got a lot of musicians, which is good. So, I'm nearly there. I mentioned earlier on Jonathan Pearman taught me to play. First thing he taught me to do was to play notes. Hours and hours of doing that. Drove my dad nuts, apparently. And then I learned to play the very first tune for the Morris, which was called Banbury Bill. So this is the very first tune I ever played in the village for the Morris. you into the mix. Do you all remember Ron Smith? Good old Ron, used to live just up the road.
Yeah, I used to come here. didn't
Yeah. When Ron passed away, and they went through his things, they found an old violin case, which he had during the Second World War when he was repairing Spitfires, I believe, abroad. And in this violin case was this old violin. It was in 3 pieces. It's got a great big crack all down there, look. That was missing. There's a big crack all down there. So that piece was actually missing. The back was completely missing, and the neck would fall off. So it was in a royal state. Now, during the first outbreak of this dreaded COVID that we're all suffering from, I took this violin home with me, and in lockdown, I pulled it all to pieces, rebuilt it, and got it to play. And on the Whit Monday, when COVID was still really, really powerful, and there were 30,000 poor people who passed away, we as a team decided that we were not going to dance that year. It was a mark we felt of respect not to go out, so the team didn't dance at all, except I went up to Ron's, I built this fiddle up, and I arranged with Pauline Smith for John to be out in the garden. And I went up with this fiddle and I stood on the outskirts of their garden and I started to play it. And John just burst into tears. Yeah, still gets me now. So, and his son turned up, Will, who also dances. So on Whit Monday, the year of lockdown, I played the fiddle on the threshold of their garden and they both did a jig. And I think it was a Nutting Girl, so I won't play the Nutting Girl, so I just played that. It's one out of tune, I'm sorry. Let's give this a go. Princess Royal is another one of the tunes that Bampton played, and we think it was possibly came from back in Queen Victoria's day. It's quite an old tune, and it was certainly played at the Queen Victoria Golden Jubilee celebrations, which many Morris teams revived for. So the teams I mentioned earlier on, a lot of those teams have faded away, but quite a lot revived for the Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee. They then died away again, and now a lot of those teams have revived in the 50s and 60s. Big revival of the Morris, big famous thing, which is what made Bampton so famous, because Bampton managed through all these years pretty well to continue dancing. Right the way through the wars, it was a Morris team, mainly because of Jingy Wells. He kept it going. So Princess Roll, I'm just going to do a quick blast of Princess Roll, and I'm going to attempt to do a few steps whilst I'm playing. I can't sing and play, but I can usually dance and play. But my knees have gone, so I can't do a lot. So, this is Ron Smith's fiddle, which has been, since I've rebuilt it, it's now given to the Bampton Morris. So when I've got to stop playing, it will be handed on to some other fiddle player, hopefully. How's it go? jig.
We could hear what you were saying.
Am I finishing at 1:45? Got time on 5 minutes, is that right?
Right, where?
5, yeah, okay. Oh, put this one down. Think about dancing and playing as you forget to breathe. Bampton Morris has always finished the day with a tune called the Bonnie Green Garters. So as soon as somebody shouts Greenie up or Bonnie Green Garters, 6 men up, musician plays, they dance around for a while, and then they shoot off into wherever the nearest drink is normally. In through the pub door or the drinks table, or if there's lots of booze and stuff, out back at the gate as quick as possible. Now, I've been involved also for many years with the Bampton Mummers. You all heard of the Bampton Mummers? Yes. When the Bampton Mummers finish their spot, they sing a song, which is now for the music and now for the fun. Your feast is ready and Christmas has come. So welcome us now and give us a cheer, for Old Father Christmas comes once in a year. And I suddenly realised a few years ago, this actually sang to the same tune as Bonnie Green Garters. Which I never heard of. Now for the music and now for the fun. Feast is ready and Christmas has come. You've got me singing now. So, do you want to do a jig, a warm up then? So, I'll finish with Bonnie Green Garters. Thank you all for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. And any questions, do come up and say hello. I'll stay for a quick cup of tea, and if you've got any questions, come and say hello.